Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations and Questions with Lynn and Danette. Hi, Danette.
Danette's still stuck in her art room.
You're still in our room, Danette.
Still in here.
That's all right. So today, Danette, we're going to talk about letters. And again, in the past, we do have some pages in our Heirloom collection where you can drop in a letter as a, part of your overall book. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. So you want to explain to everybody what you've done here?
Well, what I did was put together, and this was based on my husband's parents. When we were going through all their stuff, we found packets of letters that they had written to each other during the war, when he was away at the war, and they were still courting.
Yes.
So I came up with the idea of making a book where you could do that same thing. Mm-hmm. Now, and they don't necessarily have to have been love letters during the war. You can entitle it whatever you want and base your letters on anything. It could even be business transactions or just various letters that you have found or correspondence that you have found about a particular ancestor. You could put those into a book. In other words, you don't have to have this whole big family history, because I think the letters tell a little bit of your family history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But the one I put together was based on a courtship done long distance while the man was away at war.
Mm-hmm. And it's perfect, because I think there's a lot of people that have those types of letters. And so,
yeah.
And they're just not sure how they want to share them with family, but just not sure how they can do it in an interesting way. So
and you know what? Unfortunately, every generation had war.
Absolutely.
I mean, my generation had the Vietnam War. Our parents, World War I or II. And
yeah, absolutely. So let's pull up the book you've created for letters. So we've got a lovely cover here. So you can just easily drop your title in and a picture of,
and your photo, if you have photos.
Yep. And then we open it up, and you've done a nice little title page, sort of just giving a little summary about what the substance of the letters. So we understand where these letters are coming from. And then you've done some beautiful 2-page spreads. So you can drop the letters in and add some pictures. And then you can put on the other side, you can write a transcription of the letter. So
sometimes it was hard to read the handwriting.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very nice if you transcribe it so people can read it. They like to see the handwriting. I think that's important. They like to see the original letter, but we need to make it easy for them to read it. So this is a lovely 2-page spread with the trees in the background, and again you've added these little elements of envelopes. But if you have the actual envelopes the letters are in, take pictures of those and upload them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, you've chosen some lovely backgrounds here. Perhaps, this woman was a seamstress or whatever. So you could, add in some pictures that maybe correspond with the content of the letters.
Right. I tried to keep the pages a little masculine, feminine, depending upon whose letters were being highlighted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very pretty. And more. So just, and in terms of your letters, you just want to take some really good scans, photographs of them, at least 300 DPI, so that they show up well in the book, that they look nice in the book.
And if you don't have photographs, or as many photographs as I had here, of this couple. You could put other mementos or just have letters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Or if it's like, if it's correspondence World War II, then you might want to have a little bit of add some elements that are themed around World War II or, the 1940s, that
Right,
sort of time frame
right.
to help bring that sort of, feel to the book.
It was also a time when people sent telegrams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, your wife gave birth or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it was something cheerful, the telegram.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
those things also can be included, or postcards, or
Or newspaper clippings, because a
yep,
lot of times there were stories in the newspapers about these young men that went off to war. Sometimes, their letters home were printed in the newspapers, and sometimes it was just, a death announcement. So, and then, yeah, then you finished up nicely with just a simple picture and their wedding date.
yeah, that
Nice.
was it. And they all lived happily ever. Page.
Yes. All right. So that is our new letter book. So if you've got a collection of correspondence, something like that, this is a great way to put together a little book to share those letters with other people. I mean, nobody, you've got this stack of letters. What do you do with them? You just don't. You could just scan them and send them to people, but putting them in a book like this in a much more enticing manner, people are going to, I think, treasure them and really sit down, read them, and enjoy
Right.
them,
It's a
as
nice
opposed to,
remembrance. Yeah.
yeah, sending a bunch of scans. So great way to present letters.
It's not
All
just
right.
a remembrance, because chances are some of your readers don't even really know these people, but
Mm-hmm.
it makes those people alive. It
Absolutely.
makes
Well,
makes people stop and think these really were people, not just stories in a book. They
right.
were real people with real feelings and emotions and thoughts
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
whatever.
just it. I mean, there's no better way to get in the head of your ancestors than if you have access to letters or
Right.
diaries. And so it really gives you an opportunity to understand where their head was at, what they were thinking about, what was important to them at the time.
Right.
And so absolutely things you want to be treasured, and a great way to preserve those letters, because should those letters get destroyed, for heaven forbid, or, fall apart, you've got a nice keepsake where they've been saved in a book.
Right.
And hopefully you've sold or handed out multiple books, so they won't disappear anytime soon.
And I'm working on one for documents.
Pardon me?
I said I'm also working on some templates to preserve your documents.
Documents. Yeah, yeah, which is, yeah, another great way, because yeah, rather than just have them stuck in a box, if we put those documents into some sort of an organized book, again, another way to share that information that's less likely to get thrown out or lost, or just, people aren't interested. People won't throw away a book. They just won't throw away a book. But they might throw away a box of, paper, and
Yeah.
not realizing
Not realizing what it is.
the importance in that paper. And it just takes up less space, so people can put a little collection of books on their shelf and know that's my family history, as opposed to, 6 totes in the closet.
Or even if you just use the book of documents in your own personal reference
Mm-hmm.
as a
Yeah,
genealogist,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
still, like you said, better than digging through that box.
Yeah, exactly.
Because as organized as we all think we are, we're not.
We're not. No. No, I can attest to that, because I teach a lot of webinars on genealogy organization, and people are not organized. We like to think we are, but we're not. So
I'm halfway organized, but
yeah,
then I'll get some new information and I don't have time to
yeah.
organize it, and it gets shoved in a folder or a box. And
My theory is this. I mean, organized is great. Yes, organized. But what I think about one ancestor, one story. So take one ancestor, organize that one ancestor, make their story, gather it into some sort of small little book, print that book, move on to the next one. And that way, you know that while you've got your information organized, you have something that's going to get passed on to the next generation that they'll take instead of the box of stuff that they won't take. So,
And they'll keep that book even if they're not really interested.
mm-hmm.
But then some genealogist down the line is going to
Right.
find that book and be so thankful to you.
Exactly. Yeah. So lots of little things there. There's lots of ways to make sure that all your hard work is not, going to be lost. And books are just the best way to do that, in my opinion. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notification every time there's a new video, which is most Tuesdays. And we'll be back here next week with another edition of Conversations and Questions with Lynn and Danette.
Yep. See you guys hopefully next Tuesday.
Yeah. Bye-bye.